types of business analysis work. Now, I came up with a list here based on my experience and my interaction with other people. And I came up with this list. In fact, it was a conversation I had with an aspiring BA one time that inspired me to start building out this list, just to, bring it home that we do business analysis activities. So I grouped it into two. We have business and then we have technology here. So in the business part, the kind typical business analysis work you would have is you have business reengineering, process reengineering or improvement initiative. That's business analysis work. It could also be that you are designing and launching a new product. For you to be able to do this from start to finish, you would have to do business analysis work. Solution selection. And what do I mean by this? The organization is trying to make a decision to buy a software, maybe for HR or finance, or it could even be an ERP. So the process of identifying what the organization wants and which vendor can provide that service, you would have to go through some processes, and that is business analysis you are performing along the way. It could also be a work or activity that makes you meet up with regulatory or compliance requirements. Research and development, because for example, when you are doing products, if you're trying to develop a new product, you would have to do some R&D, trying to understand what the market requires and to design, make sure you are designing a product that meets the need. It could also be business case. You are trying to justify why organizations should make an investment. It could be investment appraisal. I don't have it here, but I'm going to note it. And please, looking at my list, if you can suggest any business analysis work you've done so far, based on what you've heard me say or what you think. So for the financial analyst that would do when an organization wants to make an investment, they need to run some numbers and all of that. That is business analysis work. It could be policy development, opportunity analysis, revenue assurance. We are reviewing to make sure there are no leakages, blocking every revenue leakage. It could be cost, an initiative that has to do with cost optimization, budgeting and forecasting, business planning. There are so many other business related activities, and please, I would love you to put it in the chat. I'm very interested. I want to keep building this list, and I'm willing to learn from you too. Also on the technology side, it could be a new system you are trying to design and develop. Most organizations have IT developers in-house that can help them develop simple solutions or even complex solutions. And they would need to interact with users in the department to understand what the needs are to design those solutions. It could be a new system installation configuration. There are two different things. Building a system from scratch and installing and configuring a system are not the same thing. You could be upgrading a system. You could be enhancing just a module or a feature in the system. It could even be a software procurement process that you are trying to do. You could be maintaining the system. You could be designing a digital form or a new report. It could be data analysis. It could be cybersecurity. So guys, based on what I've said so far, if you've done anything related to this list, can you please put it in the chat, let us know. Or from what I've said so far in the few slides I've shared, what business analysis work would you have done? Sheila or IJ from the HR part, what work would you say you've done that is that sounds like business analysis based on what we've said so far? And any other person that has worked in any other functional part of the organization, please, I would love to hear what you can share about that. Our intermediate and advanced BAs, please, would also love some engagement here. I hope this list is helpful for you to begin to articulate the business analysis you've also done if you want to start building out your resume. And this is a cheat sheet I use for my students when they are building out their resumes to help them reflect, to trigger their thoughts on the kind of BA work they may have done in the past without even knowing. Yeah, would go new product launch. IJ has done regulatory, but not in HR. Okay, good. You did that in a compliance role. Okay, Sheila, yes, please unmute yourself and talk. ISO, thank you, Dozie.
Hey. Okay, I would say regulatory in the government sector, where we had to really control our staff and make sure they adhere to regulations and the policy of the organization.
Okay.
Then business planning as well. There's a lot actually.
Okay.
So
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, writing business requirement documents, you are digging in.
I did regulatory and compliance. In fact, I was facilitating anti-money laundering lectures while I was in the bank in Nigeria. We were actually in charge of making sure the bank were complying with all anti-money laundering policies in the banking sector.
Good. So now let me ask you a question. Before you conducted that training, did you need to do research to understand what those regulatory requirements were?
Yes, we did that. We had training sessions. I don't know if it had anything to do with business analysis because I didn't know that, but I know we had a lot of training sessions. We conducted meetings with different banks to discuss and learn all the regulatory compliance, with the regulatory bodies, in the banking sector in Nigeria before we were able to bring out all the lecture materials that we used in facilitating AML lectures in different branches in Nigeria.
Okay, so yours was more of knowledge transfer. Were you part of the team that maybe designed the process or even maybe technology that would also help monitor that compliance? Did you do anything related to that?
No.
Okay, but definitely there was a team that had to do that work.
Yes.
For example, whenever I would use Nigeria as an example, whenever CBN comes up with new guidelines, maybe they say the maximum percentage for loan or whatever is this amount. Somebody needs to analyze all of that, maybe review a process, tell the IT team they need to make some changes in configuration. That is business analysis work. Okay, I think, yeah, this is good. We have that understanding. Okay, Sheila says exactly what she did. Good. Thank you very much. So now, based on this list, but I think I've already asked that question, and IJ and Sheila has contributed. I wanted to hear what kind of work people have done, but I only see Udeme says I have done procurement while I was a warehouse manager for 3 years, sales forecasting, product launch. Thank you very much. Udeme, do you want to unmute yourself to share just briefly what you did? Maybe in procurement, what do you think was the business analysis?
I worked in the bank. At some point, I was head of funds transfer, and it's just funds transfer. It's called, but I did a lot of things, ranging from cost optimization, cost control. I did a lot of asset monitoring, and I also I was the ISO champion. The banks have ISO certification for some things like card issuance, data protection, and like service industry. Those ISO certification, I was the champion, driving the very essence of those certification among my team members, like making them know what it entails, why we should remain within the standards, and things like that.
Yeah, and of course you would have annual or periodic ISO audit, so you need to make sure you are in compliance and you don't get default and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was also an ISO champion in back in one of my roles in Nigeria, so I can relate. I did that process. I worked with a team to improve processes for my former organization. Good. Ugo says I have done new system implementation in hospitals. Thank you very much for digitizing clinical team workflow. Oh, that's so good. Okay, let's proceed. Do you know the reason I'm asking this question? I want you to leave here knowing at the back of your mind that you have done something related to business analysis. You may not have known it, but you have actually done it. Now I am opening your eyes and your mind to actually see it. Let's continue. So what activities do BAs do? We've talked about it. So BAs elicit stakeholders' needs. So you need to engage stakeholders to understand. What IJ did also, meeting with other banks, you would call it some form of elicitation, because they were trying to design a training program. They needed to learn more about the compliance or regulatory issues before they could design their own product. And the product I am referring to the training they delivered is a product they designed. So first she had to gather information to understand what the policy was saying, what they needed to comply with before they designed their training program, which is the product. and use it to train the organization. At the end of the day, they wanted to achieve a goal, which was making sure the staff were educated, they were well equipped with the knowledge of the regulatory compliance so that they can comply. Because when a change is happening, if you don't train your staff to understand what they need to do, then your change cannot be effective. So that was actually business analysis work IJ was doing. She didn't know. They also discover, synthesize, and analyze information, understand issues and their root causes. You can take a screenshot of this. I'm not sharing the slides. BAs investigate and clarify stakeholders' desires. They understand and document processes. Very important. I love processes, oh my goodness. They facilitate stakeholder collaboration. They analyze needs and solutions. They understand enterprise problems and goals. Yeah. They don't know it. They need to collaborate with other stakeholders to understand it and then articulate it. They devise strategies. They help drive changes across the organization. And if you have done any of this activity in one way or the other, then you are a business analyst, irrespective of whatever job title you had when you were in that role doing that job. So I have this post here and it says, a business analyst is anyone who facilitates the creation or the delivery of value to stakeholders. I said something in the beginning and I'm repeating it again. If any activity you are doing today as a business, in fact, as an individual, when you resume work every day, ask yourself, this work I'm doing, what value is it creating? If you cannot answer that question, then I don't think you should be engaging in doing that work. Value creation it could also be that you're trying to minimize risk or you're trying to improve value. And let us look at what typical value may look like for an organization. So again, I have this image here, and the BA is performing all of these tasks and activity. At the end of the day, to create something called a solution. Remember, your solution can be a product, it could be a service. It could be a process you are improving. Whatever you are doing to meet the need of your stakeholder is called a solution. And at the end of the day, the solution in itself should be able to deliver value to the stakeholder and make the stakeholder happy. So when you hear the word value, what does it mean? Whatever you are doing, does it mention he did some cost optimization? For you, the BA work you are doing should be able to meet any of these criteria here. It should be reducing costs. It should be increasing revenue in one way or the other. It should be increasing profit. It should be blocking revenue leakage. It could be improving productivity, increasing customer satisfaction or employee satisfaction. It could also increase the customer retention and experience. It could be improving health and safety of individuals in that organization. The work you do as a BA could result in reducing turnaround time. Organizations want to do things faster. Your customers do not appreciate delays. They want to be able to get services or products at the quickest time possible. You could be improving a process. And you can improve a process, reducing the time and the cost it takes to execute that process. You could also be designing and implementing a whole new process. For example, there could be a new regulatory requirement from any regulator that might require you to actually design a process that will make sure you comply with that. You could also be designing a new report that would help you comply with that regulatory requirement. Again, you could be designing and launching a new product. You could be improving an existing product or service. You could be conducting market analysis and research. So these are the ways, any work you do or any work you have done. Again, I'm helping you see the business analysis in what you've done. Any work you've done in the past that has resulted to any of this, call it a business analysis work.